Only a few tests done locally for COVID-19. Graydon Smith joins the show to talk about preparing for the long weekend. And Charmaine Broughton joins us to give you some tips on a great Easter meal. All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Cogeco News for April 9th. I'm James Bowler with what's happening in your community. And to our top story, for the second day in a row, there are no new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Muskoka. Once again, no new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Muskoka, but the question is that because there's just not enough testing happening? During his daily update to reporters, Dr. Charles Gardner with the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit confirmed since testing sites in Bracebridge and Huntsville opened last week, less than 20 people were tested. But the stringent guidelines on testing have been aggressively changed by Premier Doug Ford, which Gardner says will lead to more testing locally.
The Premier has certainly commented very strongly about the need to dramatically increase the amount of testing that's happening. And I have agreed that we do need to have a high volume of testing if we want to do the utmost to flatten the curve. That the countries that have done best with this have had a high degree of testing and the identification of cases and then follow up with cases for isolation as well as their contacts. And that now that our laboratory system has caught up with the backlog of testing, there's more capacity for more testing. I've advocated that we be more liberal about testing. So last night there was a directive from the province that indeed allows for more testing, a broader set of criteria for testing. There's in that very much a focus on long-term care facilities and their protection of long-term care facilities. And so now we are directed to do testing if there's anybody in those facilities that has any symptoms at all, and anybody in their immediate vicinity, other residents in adjacent rooms, whether or not they have symptoms. So they're now directing us to do testing on people without symptoms under those conditions, and then to test any staff that have been working in the vicinity of a potential case, whether or not they have symptoms. Certainly if we get a confirmed laboratory test on an individual in a long-term care facility, whether staff or residents, there's a call for testing of people in the vicinity whether or not they have symptoms. So the move towards testing people under those conditions without symptoms is a key change.
And following his aggressive stance yesterday, calling for no less than 13,000 tests per day provincially, the Premier took a softer tone today, but still with the same message.
We're putting in better systems that we can test more people, get results quicker. And with any crisis, Laura, you have to have the flexibility to adjust. As the numbers change, you can adjust the systems. But our goal at the end of the day is test every single frontline healthcare workers, all workers, being nurses, doctors, PSWs, cleaners, anyone that's involved in the healthcare system. But there has to be a priority. Our priority is make sure that we target the long-term care residents and the workers there, and then as well as seniors. We want to make sure we're doing everything we can for our seniors population. And as we move forward, if we have to tweak a system, that's the right thing to do, then tweak the system, as long as we're seeing the results and we get more people tested. But simultaneously, as I mentioned yesterday, Laura, this system has to work not just for the first responders, healthcare workers, and so on and so forth. We have to make sure that we continue testing the general population. If someone has symptoms and they come in, we need to test them. And that's the point we need to get to, and I know we're going to be moving rapidly on this. So again, I just want to reinforce this. I have all the confidence in the world in our health team, what they're doing, and we're going to tweak the system and just speed things up.
The testing sites in Bracebridge and Huntsville are not set up for walk-in tests. You must first be assessed by a physician who would then direct you to go to one of these sites. And just before we take our first break, I want to show you a scene on the Mohawk territory this afternoon as local and out-of-town buyers lined up to buy cigarettes before the reserve closes its shops. Our Samantha Johnson talked to one of these buyers.
We're stocking up on smokes for everyone back in Aurelia, and the lineup's been horrible. Cold, but we haven't been here much, like maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess what is the mad rush to get in here?
Because they're shutting down. Grandma's shut down all their smoke shops, and they're shutting down today as of 6 p.m. as well. So nobody wants to spend $17.50 for one pack at a store.
Yeah. So yeah, you stock up, I guess.
Oh yeah, because they're really cheap here, 20 bucks a carton.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to take a first break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Joining me over from his home office is Mayor Graydon Smith. And Mayor, thank you very much for taking the time.
My pleasure.
So Graydon, we're coming into I would say a pivotal time right now. It's a long weekend, and this would generally be a time where a lot of cottagers would start to come in and open their cottages, tourists coming up to kind of get some fresh air and take in the sights of Bracebridge. Obviously, we don't want that happening. So before we start anything else, just want to know, what message are you wanting to get across right now?
Well, I think it's the message that we've heard from public health officials throughout Ontario and Canada, for that matter, which is stay at home. And they're not saying that to be mean or to keep people away from their cottages. They're saying it for the most valid reason of all, which is we want to make sure that people have the best chance of avoiding this virus. And so staying where you are in your home is the best way to do that.
So Graydon, I think there is sort of I don't want to say ignorance, but there seems to be a lot of comments that are falling on deaf ears still. And we've seen pictures, we've had pictures sent to us. We've taken pictures of people who are, first of all, for example, not your area, but in the Bala area, lining up for smokes in the Wata First Nation before they closed their borders. And we've had comments of people were, in Bracebridge in the flats, tourists coming in supposedly. I just want to know, and again, this is based on people reporting in, and we don't know how verified these comments are, but it does seem to be happening. I've seen New York plates here. I just want to know what your comments are for situations like that.
Well, I think you're right in that most of the examples provided are anecdotal and may not be perfectly accurate. At the same time, it's easy to tell that there's a significant amount more traffic, and that in conversations I've had with retailers whose primary market is servicing the seasonal and cottage market, that they're busy and they're getting calls and they're getting requests. So I think the message has fallen on deaf ears somewhat. Either that, or it's fallen on ears that don't want to hear it. And want to pick and choose what part of public health advice they follow. And that's unfortunate because, again, It's not a matter of trying to pit people against one another or be exclusionary or hoard something for ourselves. It's a matter of public health. And, I think it's impossible to justify picking and choosing what public health advice you want to follow.
What can the town be doing in order to police these situations, especially with people still going to parks, still going to these tourist areas, in Bracebridge or other towns?
Well, I think the people that are in the community are frankly quite willing to tattle on those that aren't doing the right thing, and that's probably appropriate right now. The OPP are empowered to carry out enforcement for measures that are under this special emergency order from the province, and they're the call to make right now. At the same time, we know we get calls municipally. I get calls, and we don't want people to be spending their time talking to people that can't do the work. So if you see large groups of people that are together, if you see people that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of that emergency legislation that's out there, the OPP is really your call.
So I'm going to switch gears here to a more local focus because we are picking on the outside. I mean, there is an issue with people coming from the outside in, but I think also locally there's some issues as well. People not really understanding the full rules. Talking about Easter weekend, this is generally a time where there are very large family gatherings. And personally, I'm going to be spending the weekend alone because, socially, that's the most responsible thing to be doing. However, I know there are people that may be planning to still have family gatherings. So what kind of message do you want to give to those residents?
I wish I could have a large family gathering, but I can't, and you can't either. We've got an immediate family of 4 in my house, which is my wife and my 2 kids, and that'll be the crowd this year. Typically, with my family, and a lot of us still live in Muskoka, there'd be more than 20 of us. So we'll have to wish happy Easter to each other by phones or by video conference, and just unfortunately sit this one out and enjoy the company of your immediate family, or you may have to enjoy the company of yourself. But again, it's for the greater good, and I think we have to understand how deadly this can be for some people if they were to catch this. And if we all knew we had or had not had this virus, it would be a different story. But we don't know if we've got it, if we're communicable with it. People could be asymptomatic, and you can't take that chance with your family or anybody else.
Great. Now, before I let you go, I just want to end on a more positive note. And I think there's been a lot of support being shown in the community for our healthcare workers, for our frontline workers. We've already had a couple of EMS shout-outs to them and people banging pots and pans, just different things like that. I just want to know your perspective on that.
Well, these people are frankly heroes every day, and you find out in times of crisis just how important they are to all our lives, because they are willing to really be the literal front line in protecting people against an unseen enemy. We know that a number of frontline healthcare workers have died either in other countries, and I read about one in the province of Ontario today in Brampton. And it's heartbreaking because these people are literally giving their lives for us. So I don't think that there's a thank you big enough to be provided them. But we'll do the best we can to always make sure that they're recognized for the incredible work that they do, and hope some of them get to have a bit of a break over the weekend and recharge and re-energize. But it's certainly, we certainly couldn't do it without them.
All right. Well, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time as always.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. We are going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. And joining me from her fabulous kitchen, which you will all recognize, is our host of Chars Kitchen, Charmaine Broughton. And looks like you've got some pretty tasty things there, Charmaine. I'm very excited to see what we've got going on there. Just to mention, we do have Easter weekend coming up, and we don't really want to see anybody going home for the weekend. But if you're with your family, or even if you're alone, you could try some of these recipes that Charmaine has cooked up for us today. So let's take a look and see what Charmaine's got for us. Char, give us a little tour here of what we got going.
Yeah, so we've got some Easter feasting, isolation-inspired dishes. How's that?
That sounds pretty good.
Well, in true Char fashion, let's start with dessert. I actually have two desserts today because it's Easter. So the first one I wanted to show, it's just really simple. It's just a milkshake. And the reason why I wanted to feature a milkshake today is because they're super fun and easy. And I mean, let's maybe kick it old school this Easter, especially, you know, a lot of the grocery stores are out of flour. So if you want to bake something, perhaps you don't even have the ingredients to, or perhaps maybe money's a little bit tight, and the money that you do have to shop for groceries, you don't want to be spending on ingredients to make an elaborate cake. But you might have some ice cream and you might have a little milk. So what I've done is, I just pop my ice cream and my milk into my blender, brainless, you know, you make a milkshake. But what I've done to make it like a little bit festive for Easter is I dipped my milkshake glass into some chocolate and then into some like springtime inspired pastel colored sprinkles just to make it super fun.
That looks delicious. That looks so good right now. I wish I could reach through the screen and grab that and just take a drink of it.
It looks delicious and it tastes even better. And I mean, kids would literally go. I mean, I'm a big kid and I'm gobbling it up. So yeah, just a really fun, neat idea that you may not thought of. That doesn't take a lot of ingredients, and again, using ingredients maybe that you already have, so we're not running out to the grocery store unnecessarily. Now, from the milkshake, we want maybe a more nutrient dense. This is a great side dish, actually. So this is a peanut and pulse salad, and it's absolutely delicious. You can really use any kind of mixed green that you like. And I chopped up an apple, some great tomatoes. The other beauty of this salad is it uses some pantry staple items like lentils, but if you didn't have lentils and you had chickpeas or white beans, you could add those in. And then I'm going to garnish it with some peanuts. And the dressing is peanut butter and some lemon juice, some garlic. It's a really simple recipe and so delicious and nutritious and nutrient dense. And just a really neat combination of flavors, especially with the peanut butter dressing.
I never thought peanut butter and garlic would go together, but I mean, I trust you, Charmaine. If you say it tastes good, I'm going to go with that.
Oh, absolutely, trust me. This is a phenomenal salad, and the great thing about this salad is, hey, maybe you and your family are going more plant-based, and if you have all these ingredients, this is plant-based, it's actually vegan, and you know, tons of plant protein in the peanuts and in the lentils. So as much as we're having our milkshake and eating it too, we can also, you know, fuel our body this Easter as well, because we want to, you know, through this, we really do want to try to stay as healthy as possible.
Yes, I can tell from the milkshake, you really want to stay healthy as possible.
Well, but you know my theory, James. I'm all about 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I eat my, you know, peanut and pulse salad and get my exercise in, and the other 20% I can have my milkshake and eat it too.
That's fair. So I'm curious, Charmaine. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, but we need to get to my grilled chocolate sandwiches.
Okay, I was about to ask. I said I was going to say those, whatever those creations are to the right. I'm very curious now what those are.
Okay, so if you can, oops, I've cooked it a little bit. That's okay. One's a little burnt, but so these are my grilled chocolate sandwiches. They're absolutely phenomenal, perfect for an Easter brunch.
Okay.
So if you can make a grilled cheese, you can make these. But what I've done is I made a compound butter. So a compound butter is just a flavored butter. I've added some orange zest, a little bit of vanilla, splash of maple syrup. You're going to spread this butter onto your bread, just as if you were making a grilled cheese sandwich. Instead of cheese, we're going to use chocolate. So like I like the 70% dark chocolate. So you buy the chocolate bar, break it in half to make 2 sandwiches. You put it between your bread, pop it on your grill it away. I just want to plate one for you. Do I have time to plate one?
Sure. Charmaine, while you're doing that, I want to ask you, Is it possible to
Yes.
get insane right now and mix
Sorry,
chocolate
what's
and
that?
cheese?
What's in-
Can you mix chocolate and cheese together in one sandwich? Is that too crazy?
You know what? You could do maybe like a goat cheese in this, like a softened goat cheese. Even a brie you could do.
Okay.
Like if I was going to use a cheese, those are the two cheeses that I would use.
Okay.
But
From the mouth of the expert. All right.
no, just with this straight up chocolate is phenomenal. And can you guys see it? The
Yeah.
chocolate's like oozing. Hang on. And then some whipped cream.
Oh, fantastic.
And then some sprinkles, and ta-da, a super fun, delicious, and absolutely doable. I mean, have your kids get involved in the kitchen. If your kids didn't like the dark chocolate, you only had milk chocolate, you could absolutely use that. But, make it fun for them. We're kind of all stuck inside, and if we're stuck inside, we might as well be eating grilled chocolate
Oh,
sandwiches.
so fun. All right. Well, Charmaine, we do have to go to a break, but I do want to say thank you very much again for showing us a fantastic set of recipes.
My absolute pleasure, James. Happy Easter, everyone. Stay home, stay safe, and we'll get through this.
Thank you. And if you do want to see more of Charmaine, don't forget to catch her on demand on YourTV. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Well, if you're living in the Gravenhurst area and you're struggling to get the necessities that you need, the Chamber might have you covered.
We're working together with Parristown Muskoka Community Network and the Gravenhurst Chamber of Commerce. We put a bit of money into help businesses offer a delivery service. So basically what we've done is we've reached out to businesses in the Gravenhurst community and said to them, hey, we have this program, we can subsidize every delivery for $5. We don't care if you pay a delivery service, if you pay your own staff, however you want to do it, but if you send us proof of deliveries, we'll be happy to reimburse you that money and reimburse it quickly. And we have about a dozen right now. 2 new joined yesterday, Harvey Swiss Chalet and Subway, both joined yesterday. But we have it on our Facebook, we're working right now to, if you go to gravenhurstchamber.com, there is a link giving you the list directly there. But we're, a lot of businesses, if you call them, will also say, yeah, we have the delivery service. And if anybody wants to take part, they're welcome to call the Chamber, and we're answering our phone or our emails. If we bring a few more customers to some of these essential service businesses during the slow time, we're happy to do that. If we keep people home and safe, we're happy to do that. And if we get people using a little bit more technology, that's great too. So it's a triple win, I guess.
A great local service. We are going to take our last break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the headlines from today. No new cases of COVID-19 confirmed in Muskoka, but we did learn there were 20 tests conducted since the sites first opened last week in Huntsville and Bracebridge. That testing will be opened up more after the Premier went on an aggressive rant yesterday, calling for at least 13,000 tests per day. And no new cases confirmed in Parry Sound at this point either. And as we head into the long weekend, local officials are calling for residents to be smart. Don't get together for family gatherings. And they're also reminding cottagers and visitors that Muskoka is not open for tourism business at this point. If you do see people gathering in large groups, call the OPP. Fines can be laid against these type of rule breakers. You can keep up to date with all of these details on YourTV's Cogeco News or on our Facebook page 24/7. And that is Cogeco News. For more information on the program, head over to yourtv.tv or connect with us on social media. Remember to catch us live at 5 Monday to Thursday, and from everyone here at Cogeco News, thanks for watching.